Kilmar Abrego Garcia has lived in Maryland for nearly 14 years. He's married to an American woman, raising 3 kids, and works as a union sheet metal apprentice. He has no criminal record, and yet last month ICE deported him by mistake, if you go by legal standards, and rightfully so if you go by the standards of the Trump administration.
Abrego Garcia was a foreign terrorist. He is an MS-13 gang member. He was engaged in human trafficking. He illegally came into our country. And so deporting him back to El Salvador was always going to be the end result. There is never going to be a world in which this is an individual who's going to live a peaceful life in Maryland, because he is a foreign terrorist and a MS-13 gang member. Not only have we confirmed that, President Bukele yesterday in the Oval Office confirmed that as well. So he went back to his home country, where he will face consequences for his gang affiliation and his engagement in human trafficking. I'm not sure what is so difficult about this for everyone in the media to understand.
I mean, it's kind of hard for people to understand because there's no evidence of either claim. There's no charges. There's nothing of the sort. But now he's sitting in a Salvadorian prison. And El Salvador's president says that, sorry, I messed it up. I know, I know, Bill. El Salvador's president, okay, there we go, said that there's no way he's sending him back.
How can I smuggle a terrorist into the United States? I don't have the power to return him to the United States.
But you could release him inside El Salvador.
Yeah, but I'm not releasing, I mean, we're not very fond of releasing terrorists into our country. I mean, we just turned the murder capital of the world into the safest country of the Western Hemisphere, and you want us to go back into the releasing criminals so we can go back to being the murder capital of the world? No, that's not going to happen.
Well, they'd love to have a criminal, released into
I mean, there's a fascination.
They would love it.
The Supreme Court ordered Garcia's return. Trump refuses, and now Democrats are building a congressional delegation to go to El Salvador themselves. Senator Chris Van Hollen and Representative Adriano Espaillat says that if the White House won't act, then they will, saying that they would visit El Salvador to personally check on his condition, and if he isn't returned to the United States by midweek, they'll head over there. But according to border czar Tom Homan, it would be a waste of time.
If somehow he comes back and that happens, he's going to be detained and removed again. He's an MS-13 gang member based on our intelligence and El Salvador's intelligence. He will be detained and he will be deported. But what's the sense of bringing someone back to simply go and face deportation again? He's a public safety threat. He's a gang member, and he's a designated terrorist. We should not be bringing any of those people back to the United States. That's my opinion.
Damn. And if that's not disheartening enough, Trump's comments to President Bukele after their press conference were really alarming.
I want him to do, homegrown criminals next. Yeah. They said homegrowns are next. The homegrown's built. You got to build about 5 more places.
Yeah, that's fair.
All right. It's not big enough.
No, yeah.
So the question now, should this be a wake-up call for us naturalized citizens and immigrants alike? What good is legal status if a mistake or a political choice can still get you deported? With Democrats, preparing to intervene, does that show real leadership, or are we watching another made-for-TV standoff between Republicans and Democrats, putting people's lives in the balance for politics? What you think?
I am actually, my flabbers are gasted. Do you hear me?
What? Why?
The Trump administration, His Majesty's royal court around here has decided they just want to send people to and fro without any
yeah, exactly. Due process.
No due process.
And here's
snatching them off the street.
Here's the cooker for me, right? Like here's the kicker. The Democrats are like, we're going to go down there and get him, instead of stopping him from doing the heinous, egregious behaviors that he's been performing in the White. Stop the man. What are you going to El Salvador for? Like, don't go to El Salvador, because guess what? Y'all not coming back either. He's going to get rid of you all next. Okay, you think him
You think
and
it's a
the
trap?
really good
You
friends?
think it's a trap? They're gonna be waiting for him when they get out the
I
plane.
guarantee
They're gonna
you,
lock the border. He's gonna lock the
they're
border.
now political prisoners. Yes, because you didn't clear that with our country, and so now, bienvenidos El Salvador. Welcome to El Salvador, because that's where you live now. You're no longer American.
Wow.
I see it. I see it happening.
Dex, as someone who is an American citizen, but definitely in a minority in this country, do you feel threatened by Trump's threats at doing homegrown criminals next? Not you personally, but you as a Black person.
I should answer this question with my mask on, but I know how terrible that would seem because you're talking about El Salvador. So I'm not going to put the mask on.
Luchadors.
But to be honest with you, I don't necessarily see the issue here. Fully see the issue here.
Okay.
Because on one hand, of course, obviously, like me, I could be walking down the street and I'm picked up and thrown in El Salvador, so that's a problem. However,
because of what you said on this show maybe 3 years ago that you don't remember,
but a lot of people who are career criminals, criminal records and whatnot, were advocating for Donald Trump, and it's just kind of one of those things where it's just like, I don't wish bad things would happen to people, but I do sometimes hope that people can get what they deserve. And if you are out here, your friends are out here, your family's out here with criminal records and whatnot, and they'd be out here committing crimes, and y'all talking about y'all voting for Donald Trump because he gave you a stimulus check,
please,
maybe you should enjoy El Salvador. Maybe that is for you.
But maybe they didn't vote for, maybe this family, we don't know who they voted for. Maybe they didn't vote for Donald Trump.
Some people didn't vote at all. And if you didn't vote at all, maybe El Salvador.
But maybe they voted for Kamala. There's a 30% chance that they voted for Kamala. There's a 30% chance they voted for Trump. There's a 30% chance they didn't vote at all.
Well, the way that map looked.
we don't know.
I'm just saying.
Well, we don't know.
And also, if you did vote for Kamala Harris, maybe you should have got more people to vote for her.
Is that your responsibility to gather the troops? I mean, we didn't gather the troops.
Just like it's your responsibility as a Christian to bring people to Christ, it was your responsibility as a voter to bring people to Kamala Harris. It's not what Kamala Harris could have done for you. It's what you could have done for Kamala Harris.
Good Lord.
What just happened on this moment? What just happened?
Do you think the Democrats have any sort of leverage here with Bukele now that he's in Trump's pocket to get this man released from El Salvador in prison?
What did Hakeem Jeffrey say to y'all? We have no leverage. And he said that we have no leverage. Remember that time in Scandal where they had kidnapped Olivia Pope and they was about to go to war for one person.
I believe you.
They was about to go to war for one person. That's what this man think we finna do with boy and El Salvador. We're not finna do that.
We're not gonna do it.
If you want us to really get involved in this, you're gonna have to deport like 10 more people. Like one person, not enough. This time next week, we ain't gonna be talking about this no more.
And it needs to be like, here's the other thing, right? It's the quality of person that has to be deported in order for me to be like, right?
Why? This is a man who, like you guys, well, not Bill, but like Dex, a father, a suburban father living with a family. He has a job. He's part of a union. He's never been arrested. He doesn't have a criminal record. None of that matters.
Look, I mean, I'm not saying it don't matter, but for me to really get involved and get out in the streets, you're going to have to take Halle Berry or something like that. Like you got to take, you got to take a quality person. Like, what am I supposed to do with it? Sorry to this man, but like, come on.
I don't know this man. And you know what? It's reminiscent of the whole Alien Gonzalez.
You remember that?
Gonzalez, yeah.
Where they had that boy strung up in that closet, looking crazy, hiding up under them clothes.